Hey, welcome back in, Occupy Democrats. And one of the things we don't talk enough when we discuss Donald Trump and breaking stories like this one is we don't discuss enough the fact that the man is literally decaying in front of our eyes. And what does that mean? That means we could all be stuck with JD Vance. Yeah, you know, the vice president. Hillbilly elegy, the guy who said he was a never Trumper, the guy who has been himself in so many different pieces over the last 6-7 years that he should be a twister game all by himself. And in this breaking story, what he does, drinking the Kool-Aid of Donald Trump and MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, right in association with RFK Jr., you know, crazy man who was a heroin addict, that guy. You get things that sound like this.
Republicans seem to be responding one of two ways to a massive political report exposing racist and anti-Semitic texts sent by young Republican groups.
Grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. Kids do stupid things, especially young boys.
Oh yeah, they were just kids, except for the fact that they were 30 and 40-year-olds, JD. Once again, twisting yourself and drinking the Kool-Aid to please yes man Donald Trump. And the person who will call him out on that now, ironically, is the grandson, Jack Schlossberg, of John F. Kennedy, JFK. This.
RFK Jr. is a dangerous person.
And he's not wrong.
Who has making life and death decisions as Secretary of Health and Human Services. And you don't just have to take my word for it. Now we have an actual record to go on. He fired all the vaccine experts on the panel and replaced them with anti-vaxxers. He's cutting funding for life-saving research.
And it keeps going.
He's spreading misinformation and lies that are leading to deaths around the country. There's a measles outbreak in America right now, higher than it's been in 40 years as a direct result of what he has done.
Because JD will just continue to justify.
They tell edgy, offensive jokes like that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives.
And that the American people should know when he barks who's actually talking.
Do you think your cousin is profiting off of his position in the Trump administration?
Especially when it comes to health and RFK Jr. and his boss, Donald Trump, just about damn anything. This
brings us back to the corruption crisis that we're in. I don't think it takes a genius to know that the Trump administration is the most corrupt in American history. And I don't know who's paying him, but I know that what he's saying isn't making anybody healthier or safer.
So in this breaking story, at the MAHA convention, sitting with RFK Jr., you have to grasp the absurdity of how much JD Vance is a yes man, how unintelligent he actually is, along with some of the idiotic things that he says when it comes to science. Wow, you didn't have to have two of them on stage. You could have just had RFK Jr. be a ventriloquist in this breaking story. Check out what JD actually had to say as the Vice President of the United States. Oh my God, here it is.
He doesn't want yes men. I'm like one of these crazy people. The one way in which I'm more instinctively MAHA, if I have like, you know, a back sprain or I slept, you know, weird and I woke up with back pain, I don't want to take ibuprofen. Like I don't like taking medications. I don't like taking anything unless I absolutely have to. And I think that's another MAHA style attitude. It's not anti-medication, it's anti-useless medication. He doesn't want yes men. So I can do like 5 dead hang pull-ups. You know, I have longer arms. I'm a little fatter than I should be. He doesn't want yes men. He requires honest counsel. In other words, if I have an opinion on something, whether I agree or disagree with the administration position, it's really, really important that I talk to the president about it. He doesn't want yes men. You know, one of the criticisms that Bobby will always get, and I always think it's such bullshit, excuse my language, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, it's probably covering. Anyway, is sometimes there's this attack where people say, well, you know, this or that conclusion is not supported by the science, or this or that conclusion is a conspiracy theory. And science, as practiced in its best form, is that if you disagree with it, then you ought to criticize it, and you ought to argue it against it, but you can't shut down the debate. He doesn't want yes men. Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw this video circulating on social media, but, you know, the president met the president of Syria, al-Shara, in the Oval Office a couple of days ago. And, you know, he asked him, he's like, well, how many wives do you have? And it's just like, oh, what an amazing question. Amazing comedic timing. He doesn't want yes men. there are layers to it. There's like a meta humor to it. It's just, anyway, but we got a lot of good humor in the cabinet. He doesn't want yes men.
Do you just love that? Do you just love the fact that he said, when there's science and there's information, just because you have science doesn't mean you can't have debate? That's true in certain circumstances. But there are times, JD, when the science is actually just the science, and it doesn't really require a debate. Because if you know anyone who's been cured or survived cancer or cured anything else, I don't know, maybe RFK Jr., like vaccines that have proven, as Jack Schlossberg said, to keep us from having a measles outbreak, sometimes the science is just the science, and it's not left up to debate. You can leave it up to your choice, dummy, but it's not up for debate. You guys like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and woo, stay frosty.